Kovu was supposed to die. In the actual story, he came within seconds of being killed by crocodiles. One wrong step, and the Lion King 2 would have ended before it began. But what if he didn't make it? What if that cliff gave way? Because Kovu was more than just Kiara's love interest. He was the only bridge between two kingdoms at war. Today, we're rewriting history. We're killing Kovu as a cub and watching the Pride Lands burn. No redemption, no second chances, no happy ending. Let's find out what happens when the chosen heir never makes it home. It starts the same way. Young Kiara wanders into the Outlands, and young Kovu saves her from crocodiles. They play together, two cubs who don't understand why their families hate each other. Then Kion arrives with the Lion Guard. His roar sends Zira and the Outlanders flying. Kovu, separated from his mother, runs home alone. But those same crocodiles return. This time, there's no Kiara to warn him, no guard to protect him. Kovu fights hard, but there are too many. When he backs against the cliff's edge, the ground crumbles. He falls. Hours later, Zira finds his body downstream. Her scream echoes across the Outlands. She didn't just lose a son, she lost Scar's legacy, the one cub chosen to avenge their fallen king. In that moment, Zira makes a decision that reshapes everything. If Scar's true heir is gone, she'll create a new one. And this time, it won't be about infiltration or playing nice. This time, it's about blood. Nuka expects to be chosen. After years of being overlooked, he finally thinks his mother sees him. But Zira doesn't even look at him. Nuka is weak and desperate, a follower, not a leader. Instead, she turns to Vitani. "You will kill Simba and take the Pride Lands." Vitani is stunned. She knows what this means. No more games. Zira isn't training an infiltrator. She's building a weapon. For the first time in her life, Vitani feels the weight of being chosen. Without Kovu, Zira's plan changes completely. In the original story, Kovu was supposed to earn Simba's trust and betray him from inside. But Vitani isn't Kovu. She's sharper, colder, and far more loyal. She doesn't question or hesitate, and she definitely doesn't fall in love with enemies. Zira abandons the infiltration plan entirely. Why waste time earning trust when you can take what you want by force? The Outlanders begin preparing for war. Real war, a full-scale invasion of the Pride Lands, and Simba has no idea it's coming. Meanwhile, Kiara grows up different. She doesn't talk about her adventure in the Outlands or mention the cub who saved her, but deep down, she knows something terrible happened to him. As she grows older, she becomes isolated. Simba keeps her locked inside Pride Rock, and every time she looks toward the Outlands, she feels empty. Years pass. On the day of Kiara's first hunt, she's frustrated. Simba, Nala, and Timon and Pumbaa are all watching from the shadows. This isn't freedom, it's a performance. But Zira has been watching too. The moment Kiara steps away from Pride Rock, the trap is set. Zira orchestrates a wildfire. Flames erupt across the savannah, cutting Kiara off from her pride. She runs through the smoke, desperately trying to escape. Then she sees her, Vitani. But Vitani isn't there to save her. She's there to finish what Zira started. Vitani circles Kiara like a predator. The fire rages around them, trapping them in a ring of flames. "You're Zira's daughter," Kiara says, coughing through smoke. "And you're Simba's," Vitani replies coldly. "Your life ends here." But something stops her. Maybe it's the fear in Kiara's eyes. Maybe it's the memory of her brother who died trying to befriend a Pridelander. Or maybe it's realizing that killing Kiara won't bring Kovu back. Vitani hesitates. In that split second, a burning tree crashes between them. Now they're both trapped. If they don't work together, they'll both die. Kiara doesn't ask for help. She just starts moving, leaping over flames and finding a path through smoke. Vitani follows, not because she trusts her, but because survival matters more than revenge. When they finally escape and collapse on a riverbank, something shifts. They're enemies. They should hate each other, but they're alive because of each other. "Why didn't you kill me?" Kiara asks. Vitani doesn't answer. She doesn't know. But Zira is watching from the shadows, and she's furious. When Vitani returns to the Outlands, Zira attacks without questions. Claws slash across Vitani's face, leaving a scar that mirrors the one Kovu never lived to receive. Zira screams accusations. Weak, traitor, unworthy of Scar's name. "You had one job. Kill Simba's daughter." But Vitani doesn't apologize. She stands tall, blood dripping from her wound. "Kovu wouldn't have killed her either." Silence. Then Zira snaps. Because Vitani is right. Kovu was always too soft, too curious, too willing to see good in Pridelanders. Now, his sister is following the same path. Zira exiles Vitani on the spot. She promotes Nuka as her new heir. Nuka is ecstatic, but Vitani knows the truth. Nuka won't last. He's too desperate and reckless. When war comes, he'll be the first to fall. Vitani does something radical. She returns to the Pride Lands, not as a spy, not as an infiltrator, but as a refugee. When Simba sees her standing at the border, scarred and alone, he has to make a choice. Trust the daughter of his greatest enemy or send her back to die. Simba lets Vitani stay, but he doesn't trust her. Guards watch her constantly. Nala interrogates her. Even Rafiki is skeptical, but Kiara defends her. Kiara saw something in Vitani that no one else did. Doubt, hesitation, the same conflict that once lived in Kovu. She's not like Zira, Kiara insists. She chose to leave. But choosing to leave doesn't mean the war is over. Zira is done waiting. With Nuka leading her army, the Outlanders march on Pride Rock. The battle is brutal. Lionesses clash in the valley, claws and teeth tearing through fur. Simba fights on the front lines, trying to hold back the wave. Nuka isn't fighting for honor, he's fighting for validation. When he sees Simba standing alone, separated from his pride, Nuka charges. The fight is vicious. Nuka is smaller and weaker, but he's fueled by years of resentment. For a moment, it looks like he might win. Then Vitani intervenes. She tackles Nuka mid-lunge, sending them both tumbling toward the cliff's edge, the same cliff where Kovu died years ago. Nuka hangs on by his claws, screaming for his mother. Vitani reaches down, offering her paw. Take it! This doesn't have to end like Kovu! But Nuka refuses. In his mind, Vitani is the traitor, the sister who abandoned them. He'd rather die than accept help from her. He lets go. As Nuka falls, Zira watches from the shadows. But she doesn't mourn, she doesn't scream. She just stares at Vitani with pure hatred. Now Zira has lost all 3 of her children, and there's only one lion left to blame. Zira attacks Vitani in front of both prides, mother versus daughter. The lionesses stop fighting to watch, but Vitani doesn't fight back. She just stands there, letting Zira claw at her, letting the rage pour out. You took everything from me, Zira screams. Scar's legacy, my sons, my pride. No, Vitani says quietly. You did. You chose revenge over your own children. Kiara steps between them, not with violence, but with words. This has to stop. We are one. Them, us. Look at them. They are us. What differences do you see? It's the same speech from the original movie, but this time it hits different. There's no Kovu to inspire it. No love story to soften the message. Just truth. Slowly, one by one, the Outlanders lower their heads. They're tired and hungry. They've lost too much for a dead king's dream. But Zira refuses. She lunges at Simba one final time, and this time she doesn't miss the cliff's edge. She falls into the river below, swallowed by the same water that took Kovu years ago. The war is over, but the cost was everything. That's the timeline where Kovu dies. A world without redemption, without love, where Vitani becomes the hero Kovu never got to be, and where Kiara learns that some bridges can never be rebuilt. Kovu wasn't just a character, he was hope. Without him, the entire story collapses into tragedy. What do you think? Could Vitani have filled Kovu's role, or was this timeline doomed from the start? Drop your answer in the comments. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep rewriting Disney history together. Thanks for watching.